Welcome to the third episode of our special Webisode series on Building for Bharat, empowering sustainable and inclusive innovation. This series, under the aegis of Leap to Unicorn Season 3, celebrates National Startup Week. Leap to Unicorn with IDFC First Bank in association with Moneycontrol and CNBC TV 18 brings together leading industry experts, mentors and investors to provide mentoring, networking and fundraising opportunities to India's most promising startups, fostering valuable strategic partnerships. Now, in its third season, the program continues to inspire and enable innovation in the startup ecosystem. In our last episode, we had the privilege of hearing from Archana Jagirdar, founder and managing partner at Rukum Capital, who shared her insights into nurturing early-stage startups and identifying high-impact opportunities. We're excited to introduce our next guest on this series, Alok Bansal, co-founder and executive vice chairman, PB Fintech, a pioneering force in India's fintech and insurance sector. Alok will share how technology drives financial inclusion for Bharat, balancing innovation with affordability to deliver accessible solutions. Let's dive into his journey and insights. Alok, thank you so much for taking our time today and joining us. Alok, we want to draw learnings for startups which are building in this space or are wanting to venture into this space from your learnings.
Yeah.
You've managed to build a large digital first business in a segment which is very regulatory heavy and also demands inclusivity. So Alok, take us back to that first step, where you took your product in the market and you were ready to launch it. What was the thought process? What was the strategy when you first started out, when you first took that leap?
Sure. See, practically you have to be very clear what is the problem you are trying to solve.
Right.
In any business, not only just our business. So when we started in 2008, what we saw was, if you think about insurance, it means two things. One, savings product, mostly LIC sort of products, which can be market linked or non-market linked, but they are mostly investment with a little bit of wrapper of insurance, or car insurance sort of product, which are mandatory. And we all come from middle class backgrounds, and we're like, why would customer not think of health insurance products or life insurance, pure term life insurance product? Because these are the products which give you peace of mind.
Yes.
For any society, at some point, you have few things that you think about. You think about credit, you think about investments, you think about protection. But protection was totally missing from the insurance parlance at that time. And we thought that this is very, very critical for middle class to think about. So over last 16, 17 years, that's been the focus area for us, that first think about the product. Once you think about the product, come to us. We'll give you all the options. We'll explain the nitty-gritties of each and every product. And then buy through us and we'll handle the journey for you whenever you need a claim support, any endorsement or anything that's required. But the thought process is very clear that middle class has to buy their own peace of mind or social security, and insurance is the only way to do it.
Right. Alok, did you do like a market survey or did you test the product in your family and peers? What was that first initial step?
Not really a market survey per se, but yes, we all knew that if my parent generation, the product they were buying, they were not catering to these segments of protection. And when we talked to the industry players, they also talked about, okay, this part of the industry, whether it's health insurance or pure term insurance, very, very niche and very small.
Yeah.
And logically, it just seemed very odd that why would these segments not be much bigger than what they were? And customer awareness was also very low.
Right. Yeah.
As humans, we generally want to discount any bad events which may happen to us. So it's a very tough category, a bit boring category. We always joke that the best use case of this product is never to use the product.
Yeah.
So how do you then convince customer to take out 10,000 rupees or 20,000 rupees from their pocket and give it to someone? But social security is a very big need.
Yeah.
And if you look at India being such a large country with different segments of demographics, government is trying to do a lot, but they can do only for the bottom 70%.
Correct.
For middle class, they have to do their own planning. And insurance is very, very well suited to serve those needs.
Got it. Alok, how difficult it is for a new age, insurtech player to enter in the market today?
See, it's been tough all along. It's not that today something can change. In fact, if you ask me, acceptance of a young company or an insurtech company from the ecosystem, both from customer perspective and partner perspective, is much higher today compared to when we started. The biggest thing to note is what is the problem you're trying to solve and who is your customer for whom you're solving. And you have to stay invested into that idea for long. A lot of times there's a romanticism of startups that, okay, you start today and tomorrow you get some valuation and some exits will happen and you make money and you'll come out. You may have that.
Yeah.
You may have that in once in a blue moon. But most of the time, patience is undervalued. You have to be committed to, try to build 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, whatever it takes. The problem I have to solve is sort of changing the behavior of the customer.
Yeah.
On top of that, insurance is a category which requires a lot of trust building over time.
True.
Because again, as I said earlier, you are asking for someone to pay today for something which may or may not happen in future. So you have to have that trust relationship. So it takes long and much longer than a lot of other areas, a lot of other verticals, and that's what people need to be aware of when they start in this space.
Good. But Alok, what are the top things that, startups in this segment tend to get it wrong? What are the blind spots that they tend to ignore?
I would say the value system or the ethos of the company of what is the problem you're trying to solve, don't change that drastically just because someone else is telling you to do it. See, this may be driven because of the market conditions, it may be driven because of the investor sort of trying to give you some feedback, but don't jump around trying to solve multiple problems in a very short time. Stay committed, go deep. But I say go deep, just think about insurance as a value chain, very simple value chain.
Yeah.
You have an insurance product which requires some understanding of the risk of the customer. So you have to ensure that there is no gaining of that part of the value chain. Then there is a buying process. Now buying process itself may have some friction. What can you do to remove that friction and become much easier as a platform for customers to buy? And the biggest part is the claims, endorsement, service part.
Yeah.
Now again, what can you do there which is different from anyone else and what customers value that? Now each of these requires deep understanding of the area, but also it takes time to build these capabilities. See, we were aware of the problem we are solving. But it's not that on the day one we directly jumped into solving everything. We started small. We started with a very narrow focus. We started to build a brand. Slowly we went deeper into the whole integrations with insurance companies. If I just recall, first few years of the journey, we were more lead gen.
Okay.
Then customers will come to policybuy.com, but we'll transfer them to insurance only website.
Okay.
And the journey will close on their website. The payment will happen on insurance only website. Over time, we said, no, this is not very efficient.
Yeah.
Can we continue to have customers on our website?
Okay.
So it became more end-to-end. Then we realized, the customer may go for medical test and we are not even aware that the customer's medical test happened. So we have to integrate at the back end also. Again, we went to our partner. We said, okay, we have to do more deep dive into your systems. And then we said, okay, now customer is coming to us. They're declaring some stuff to us. So we understand the risk of the customer. So let's start participating in the product creation. So we work with our partner where we say, okay, this is our feedback.
Okay.
Can we work together to create this product? Similarly, can we do something on the buying process? Can we do something on the claim side? So, you have to chip away slowly. But yes, go deep. And that's what will make you successful.
But Alok, it's a very regulatory heavy segment when you started out, even today. Did you have access to, what kind of support system did you have? Did you have access to mentorship, or did you have like a go-to person in terms of regulatory advice that point of time?
Not regulatory advice per se. I mean, yes, we did lean upon our partners for some help. We did started interacting with the regulator very early on. I think the first meeting we had was 2009 or 2010, very early on in our journey, where we went to them and explained what we are trying to do and how it can benefit both the industry side and the customer side. But a lot of our advice was linked to the internet business dynamics of India. And we were really lucky to have InfoEdge as early investor. And both Sanjeev and Hitesh helped us with the brainstorming whenever we required them. Even today, we reach out to Sanjeev, just to bounce off some ideas. And, he's been a great support for us and maybe a lot of other companies in India.
Alok, but on the other hand, a lot of founders sort of find themselves under pressure from the VCs or the market expectation. Did you have any of those moments, during your business journey where you had to push back and sort of stick to your vision?
See, I believe company belong to founders, to be honest. See, investors are investing money, which is great for the company, and hopefully they'll also make good returns. But if some investors believe they have to do the backseat driving, then they already lost the money, to be honest. They have to trust the founding team that they will take the right decisions. See, you can take advice from a lot of people, you can talk to a lot of people. But if you cannot trust the founding team to build the business, then I don't know why should anyone put money into that business anyways. So, yes, you reach out to a lot of people for help. But my firm belief has been from day one that it's founders that you are backing, especially at the early stage. And you give them guidance, you give them support, you give them connects, you help them think through some ideas, but let them decide, let them build it.
Right. Got it. Alok, what are the 3 tips that you would give to startups, who want to attract the right kind of investors?
Not just from investor perspective, I would say one, work very closely with your core team from day one.
Yes.
The success of the company typically is not just 1% or 2% or founders. It is a lot of early people who come together. So work very deeply with your team to create the culture of the company. They have to believe it's their own company.
Yeah.
The second part is be very clear about the ethos and the value system. That cannot be compromised. And they cannot be two ways about it. Third, there will always be mistakes and there will always be things that you miss out. So have a very deep concept of sunk cost. Whatever happened has happened. You can't really change it. You can't even change what happened 2 minutes ago, right? Just focus on future and take decisions based on what your decision can mean for future of the company and future for yourself, rather than looking at what has already happened. So these 3 things I think are the sort of guiding tool for us as well, which I like to share with all other people.
Alok, what are the mistakes that startups make while building for the underserved market, building for the Bharat? What do they need to take care of?
I think one thing which a lot of people may assume at early stages that they understand a customer, and that can come as a surprise that customers have very different way of thinking, and sometimes it's not as intuitive. Because you are looking at yourself and you're saying, okay, if I am the consumer, this is how I would want things to be. Now, your consumer may not be what you are. Their demographic may be very different and they may think very differently. Second, India is such a large country. There's space for so many players within the same segment also. So if you're very clear, okay, this is your customer base and this is what they need and this is what I'm providing, and stay true to that, I think that can help a lot. Getting customers to come to you is the holy grail of any B2C business. If you have to spend marketing money continuously to get those customers to come, then you'll never be able to make, contribution positive businesses.
Like a sustainable business.
So at some point, we'll have to find ways that customers know your brand, customers know what you stand for, and they come to you. For that, you have to, as I said earlier, you have to go deep and you have to be very clear of who is your customer, what is their need.
Alok, lastly, any new trend that you see in this space where tech innovators can venture into in the insurance segment?
Oh yes, I think technology is going to play bigger and bigger role in every segment, including insurance. The sort of use case we are seeing about a lot of AI stuff or chat GPT, generative AI stuff, both, very, very encouraging, very, very, very encouraging compared to what is happening globally. In India, we are far ahead actually in a lot of these things. If I give you a simple example of how do we look at fraud detection. So we have a heuristic model in our website. So as soon as a person comes to the website, we start to tag the behavior. And at some point, if we think that there's a potential fraud, we actually stop the process.
Okay.
And we ask the customer to give us a 15-second self video and they have to speak a particular line. Now, because we have the video and we take out a frame and we have the ID proof, we have the photograph, we try to match it. We have the audio from this video and we have the audio from the call center call. We again try to match it. We look at huge number of other parameters similarly and try to figure out, okay, is this a fraudulent behavior or potential fraudulent behavior? And we flag it. Now, just think about it in insurance parlance. you're paying 1 rupee premium roughly for 1,000 rupees assured in term insurance. So 1% fraud can be really, really harmful to the P&L. And if we are able to catch these sort of frauds, and today we are able to catch almost like 6% of the fraud. If these were allowed to go through, and if these policies were issued, what would it have meant for our partners? We would have got paid. Technically, we are losing revenue here. But this is not the right behavior to encourage. So the amount of tech which can be used in this space is going to be huge, and it's going to lead to both efficiency and the right behavior.
Are you seeing startups building in these segments?
Oh yes, there are companies who are focusing on specific areas. Some companies are focusing more on services. So when I say services, it can be plain services, SEO, marketing services, call center services, AI services, OCR services. Lot of people are doing small service piece. But because their customer is insurance company or people like us, they end up becoming more B2B businesses, not B2C businesses. And the dynamics totally change once you are B2B business. And unfortunately, there are no deep moats in these businesses. So sometimes someone else can come up with a better service or a cheaper service and you can get replaced. So again, you have to reinvent yourself again and again in those businesses, unless you get into a tie-up which is so integrated with your core system that you can't be replaced.
Understood.
Otherwise, lots and lots of people are trying such stuff.
Thank you so much. Lots to learn here, Alok, and thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.